Good morning, students. In the last class, we have discussed about the concentration of the solutions. Okay, and you have written exam also based on that. The next concept is solubility of a solid in a liquids. In today's class, what we are going to discuss is when you are dissolving a solid in a solvent, what happens? When you are dissolving in a gas in a solvent, what happens? What is a lena dena? What is a lena dena with dissolution of a solid and liquid? Any pressure, temperature, how they are varying and all things we are going to discuss in today's class. Okay, that is solubility solubility of solids solubility of solids in liquids. Solubility of solids in liquids. First, you should understand the definition of solubility means what? What is solubility? What is solubility? Solubility stands for what? Generally, we think that solubility means something is dissolving. Okay, there is a difference. Dissolution, crystallization. Okay. So first, what is the definition of solubility is? It is a amount of solute in grams. It is a amount of solute in gram dissolved in a 100 grams of solvent at a given temperature and pressure is called solubility. It is the amount of solute in gram dissolved in 100 grams. That is a fixed volume of solvent they are taking. Fixed volume of a solvent at a constant temperature and pressure is called solubility. Okay. Let us see how exactly the solids are going to be soluble. How exactly solids are going to be soluble? What is the mechanism in that? See, that is, we say word dissolution. Sorry, dissolution. Dissolution. We are using the word dissolution. Dissolution and crystallization. Dissolution means what? When a solute is added to a solvent, it gets dissolved. How it is going to dissolve? Let me explain mechanism of that. Think that I am taking sodium chloride compound. I wanted to dissolve sodium chloride. I want to dissolve sodium chloride in water. What happens here? We know that sodium chloride compounds containing Na plus and Cl minus ion. Here Na plus ions will be there and Cl minus ions will be there. In the solution we have Na plus ion, Cl minus ion, Na plus ion, Cl minus ion like this. So we have a cations and anions there. These cations, all these cations are going to be surrounded by, see, we know that water contains H plus and OH minus ions. Now what happens when you are adding sodium chloride in water? When you are adding sodium chloride in water, sodium chloride ionizes into sodium plus and Cl minus ion, and all the sodium ions, cations are going to be surrounded by OH minus ions. All the cations are going to be surrounded by OH minus ions. See, I am writing Na plus ions are surrounded by OH minus ions. From where we got this OH minus ion? From the water. All Na plus ions are going to be surrounded by OH minus ions. Naturally, it is nature, opposite charge like each other. It is nature. In the same way, the Cl minus ions Cl minus ions are going to be surrounded by H plus ions. Again, natural opposite charge like each other. Cl minus ions are going to be surrounded by H plus ions. Like this, wherever the Cl minus ions are there, they are surrounded by H plus ions. Like this. See, what is the concept is that? Concept is what? When a polar solute, sodium chloride, polar means what? It's having, there is a, that is a polar molecule. What is polar molecule? That we have studied in first year. Polar molecules in which, where dipole moment is not equal to 0. Molecules in which dipole moment is not equal to 0. Okay, how polarity arises, what are called non-polar molecules, all the things you have studied in first year. So think that I am taking one polar substance, I am taking one polar solid, I am adding into a water. Water is also a polar solvent. Okay. Here Na plus ion is surrounded by OH minus ion. Think that this is, we have a blue color one, okay. Na plus ions is there, completely surrounded by OH minus ions. OH minus ion, OH minus ion, OH minus ion, OH minus ion. Like the same thing. OH minus ion, OH minus ion, OH minus ion. So in this way, the sodium chloride gets separated out. Sodium chloride is existing in the form of solid state. Na plus Cl minus. Think in this way. This is Na plus. This is Cl minus. Think in this way. When I am adding sodium chloride, when I am adding into water, ionizes Na plus Cl minus ion. So all these Na plus ions are surrounded by OH minus ions, and all these Cl minus ions are surrounded by H plus ions. In this way, the particles are separated. Earlier they were like this. When you are adding into water, they get separated like this. They are separated. Same thing it happens for when you are adding a polar solid in a polar solvent. Okay, that is why I am using the word, because there is a word called like dissolves like. Like dissolves like. Like dissolves like. Like dissolves like means what? Polar solid dissolves, polar solid, solids, if it is polar, polar solid dissolves in polar solvent only. If the solid is polar, it dissolves in polar solvent. Polar solid. Polar solid. Polar solid dissolves in polar solvent. Non-polar solid. Non-polar solid dissolves in non-polar solvent. Non-polar solid dissolves in non-polar solvent. What is the meaning of that? Polar solid dissolves in polar solvent. Non-polar solid dissolves in non-polar solvents. Polar solids means like we have sodium chloride, potassium nitrate, okay, lithium chloride. They are polar solid. Dissolves in polar solvent. The best polar solvent example is water. So polar solid dissolves in polar solvents. Non-polar solid like we have phenanthrene, anthracene, it dissolves in benzene or carbon tetrachloride. Anthracene is a non-polar solid. Anthracene is a non-polar solid. Naphthalene is a non-polar solid. They dissolve in non-polar solvent only. Non-polar solvent like we have benzene, we have carbon tetrachloride. So that is what I wanted to say. Like dissolves like. Like dissolves like. So this is how like dissolves like that. Now what are the factors? I hope you understood this mechanism. Okay. Na plus ion surrounded by OH minus ion, Cl minus ions are surrounded by H plus. Concept is what? Opposite charge particles like each other. Right. Opposite particles like each other. Next one is the word I said this is called dissolution. This is called a dissolution. Okay, what dissolution is over? That is, dissolution means what? Dissolution, I can define it. Dissolution can be defined as when a solid dissolves in a solvent, it ionizes and get into the solvent and the concentration of the solution increases. That is called dissolution. Dissociate disperses into the solvent. Particles goes into the solvent in different area. That is dissolution. Crystallization word we have. One more word is there in chemistry. That is crystallization. Crystallization. Crystallization means what? See, I said you that sodium ion, Cl minus ion, the cations and anions are dispersing in a solvent. They are all dissolving. Sometime what happens? These particles, the dissolved particles may collide each other. Dissolved particles may collide each other and they separated from the solution. Particle ions are there in the solutions. Na plus, Cl minus, Na plus, Cl minus. When they are moving in the solution, chances is there for the collision. They collide each other and they come out from the solution. Come out in the sense they are not going out. They form a separate. They are separated from the solution. That is called crystallization. Okay. Solute particles will be there. Who is undergoing crystallization? Solute particles only. What happens in the dissolution? Solute particles are going to disperse in a solvent. They are dispersing, they are dissolved. Next chances is what? Particles may recombine. Okay, and forms a separate layer. This gets separated from the solution. That is called crystallization. See, dissolution, opposite word is crystallization. Okay, this is one thing. Again, we have another term called saturated solution. This word you heard many times. Because definition of solubility says that it is the amount of solute in gram dissolved in 100 grams of a solvent to form a saturated solution. At constant temperature and pressure, or at a given temperature and pressure, right? That is called a saturated solution. Means what? We are dissolving. Think that this is water. In that we are dissolving some amount of sugar. Think in this way. You can try in home also. For a summer season, if you are preparing the sharbat, what we do there? They'll add sugar, lemon juice, etc. They will add. So this 1 liter water we have. Any amount of water you take. Add some solute, sugar you add into this, mix it, dissolves. 1 spoon I have added, dissolves. 2 spoons I have added, dissolves. Keep on adding a solute into a solvent. Now what I am doing? I am dissolving sugar in this water. It starts dissolving. One fine time. 1 spoon added, dissolves. 2 spoon added, dissolves. 3 spoons added, dissolves. One fine time what happens? Whatever the next spoon of sugar I have added, it remains at the bottom of the container only. bottom of this water bottle only. Whatever the sugar I have added here, I can see, yes, sugar particles are settled there. Sugar particles are settled there. I can see that. That state is called saturated state. So, what is saturated solution? Solution at which further dissolution of solute is not possible. The further dissolution of solute is not possible, and whatever the solute is added, it remains as such in the solution. That state is called saturated state. There, what happens? An equilibrium exists between dissolution and crystallization. There is, state is reached maximum. We say no. Think that we are eating food. How much you are going to eat? We are eating till our stomach get filled. Maximum what? How much you can eat? Maximum last bite. Food is so much tasty. Think that food is so much tasty. Last bite we can hold in our mouth. Maximum, because after walking it may get into our body, our stomach. That is called a saturated. Food is so much delicious food, so much delicious food we have, but we cannot eat so much. How much we can eat? How much our capacity? That much only we can eat. That is, we can say that we have reached a saturated state. In the same way, when a solute is added into a solvent, it gets dissolves. A state is reached that is called saturated state. At that state, the further addition of solute in a solution remains as such. That is called saturated solution. Right? So, 3 words you remember in this chapter. Basic words: dissolution, crystallization, and saturated solution. Dissolution, when you are simple meaning, when you are adding a solid into a solvent, it get dissolves in a solvent and the solution concentration increases. Crystallization, in a dissolved solution, the solute particles collide each other and forms a separate, they get separated from the solution. It is called crystallization. Saturated, it is a state at which the further dissolution of solute remains as it is. That is called a saturated state. So these are the basic words for the dissolution, crystallization, and saturated state. Then we'll see what are the factors which depends. What are the factors affecting the solubility? Factors affecting the solubility. Factors affecting the solubility of solids in liquid. Factors affecting the solubility of the solid. That is, first one is factors affecting solubility of solid. Factors affecting solubility of solids in liquid. What are the factors? First one is nature of the solvent, nature of solute and solvent. You can say nature of solute and solvent. Nature of solute and solvent. I said in the beginning, that is like dissolves like. Like dissolves like. Like dissolves like. Okay, this is a line. Already I explained in the beginning of my class. That is polar solute dissolves in polar solvents. Polar solute dissolves in polar solvents. Non-polar solids dissolves in non-polar solvents. Non-polar solid dissolves in non-polar solids. Why it happens like that? No. Like dissolves like. Why this line is there? See, the polar. Think in this way. Why like dissolves like? Why polar solvents? In that we can dissolve polar solutes more easily, because attraction of the particle becomes easy. Same kind of particles will be there. In the sense, there we have a polar positive cations and anions in the solute. In solvent also we have a cations and anions, so it becomes easy for them. Right, the second one is temperature factor. How the temperature is going to affect. Second factor is temperature. Temperature. How the temperature is going to affect for the solubility of solid in liquids. That I will explain in detail because both the things are there. We cannot say that solubility of a solid increases with increase in temperature. Even some solids are there, their solubility decreases with increase in temperature. I will tell you with a graph. Third one is that. Third one is pressure. Third one is pressure. Pressure is not affecting much, not considerable effect because solids and liquids are incompressible in nature. Okay. Pressure is not so much affecting for the dissolution or solubility of solid in liquids. Nature of the solute and solvent is affecting for the solubility of solid in liquid. Okay, solubility of solid in liquids. Temperature is affecting for the solubility of solid in liquids. But pressure is not playing much important role for the dissolution of solid in a solvent. Very rare, if you take some example, this is less or almost negligible. If you take some 500 atmospheric pressure you are maintaining, think in this way, 500 atmosphere temperature you are maintaining for dissolution of sodium chloride, how much it is going to dissolve? How much it is dissolving at 1 atmosphere. For that sodium chloride solution, if I am increasing the pressure, take a container, water you take, add sodium chloride in that, increase the pressure, 500 atmospheric pressure. Now it is at 1 atmospheric pressure. Add sodium chloride, mix it, how much sodium chloride is going to be soluble in water, we can make out. Suppose I am increasing same solution, I am maintaining pressure of 500 atmospheric pressure. If I am maintaining 500 atmospheric pressure, then around 2.3% only. There is a 2.3% increase. I am not saying that totally zero. It is solubility is independent of the pressure. No, I am not telling that. But negligible. See that if I am maintaining 500 atmospheric pressure, maximum how much it is increased? 2.3% times. What is the use maintaining of so much high pressure? And maintaining of 500 atmospheric pressure is also not so much easy. So we say that generally this is that pressure is not playing much important for the dissolution of solid in liquids. Right? Now we go for the temperature. How the temperature affect for the dissolution or solubility of solid in liquids. I'm going to write some graphs, some lines are there. Because generally we think what with increase in temperature solubility increases. Generally we think that with increase in temperature solubility increases. That is true in maximum solid, but some solids are there, even though we are increasing the temperature, solubility decreases. Some graphs are there. That is continuous solubility curve, they are called continuous solubility curves. Continuous solubility curves. We have some x-axis solubility will take x-axis solubility, that is what solute you are taking in gram per 100 grams of solvent. Okay, in x-axis what I am taking solubility per 100 grams, solubility of a solute per 100 grams of solvent, and down this side temperature in degrees centigrade I am taking temperature in degrees centigrade I am taking, that is here grade solute. This x-axis is temperature, y-axis solubility. This is 0, solubility 50. Because here scale is very important. I cannot write roughly like any lines, because here 50, 100, 150, and this is 200. Okay, temperature is 20 degrees centigrade, 40 degrees centigrade, 60 degree, 80 degree, 100 degree. Now lines are like this. Lines now. First one is starts with the potassium nitrate, or first I write for lithium chloride, cesium sulfate and sodium chloride. Okay. These are some two lines. Some lines go like this, less than 50. Okay, this is for potassium nitrate, and the next line is for sodium chloride. Next line is for sodium chloride. Next we have for potassium chloride. Next one we have for ammonium chloride. Next, near to 100, we have a sodium nitrate, NaNO3. Around 150, we have silver nitrate, and below this we have potassium iodide. Okay, solubility curves are there. Solubility, this is around below 150, 100, 50, this much. Okay. This is for cesium sulfate. This is for lithium chloride or lithium sulfate. We can write lithium sulfate better. One will take lithium sulfate. Li2SO4 taken twice. Okay, see this. I'll explain this graphs with the temperature how they are affecting. So here some solids are there. For some solids like sodium chloride, potassium chloride, ammonium chloride, sodium nitrate, potassium nitrate, silver nitrate. For these, with increasing temperature, solubility is increasing only. Okay, these are all practical values, not created based on the theory. Practically, what they do that they'll take one solute. Say for example, sodium chloride they're taking. At 20 degree centigrade, how much it is soluble? At 40 degree, how much it is soluble? At 60 degree, how much it is soluble? Like that. So 20 degree, this much. 40 degree, this much. 60 degree, this much. 80 degree, this much. Like that. So what they do, sodium chloride solute, they dissolve in a solvent, and at different temperature how much it is soluble, like that they do for all the solids. There are two types of graphs are observed. One is for this compound, this is lithium sulfate, lithium compound, cerium compounds. Okay, some are with increasing temperature, some are decreasing, some are increasing. So what happens generally with the temperature, what happens? Some solids are there, increases solubility, increases with the increasing temperature, with increasing temperature. Because why it is like that? For this solid, why it is like that? You take solute, for that you add a solvent, then there is a formation of solution. For this, delta H value is positive. Endothermic reaction, dissolution of these solids in a solvent is an endothermic process. And we know that according to Le-Chatelier's principle, endothermic reactions can be favored by maintaining high temperature. Le-Chatelier principle says that any reaction is endothermic. If you want to have that reaction in greater extent, then you increase the temperature. Suppose a reaction is exothermic, then you have to maintain low temperature to have more and more product. You have to maintain low temperature to proceed that reaction in a greater extent. That is for an exothermic reaction. Now what I am doing, these are the solids. Dissolution of all these solids is an endothermic. Therefore, with increasing temperature, solubility increases. Some salts are there. B, see that B is important. That is solubility decreases. Decreases with the increasing temperature. Very important and very rare are there. Not like that. Not much. We have some lithium sulfate compounds, some cerium, lanthanide sulfates are there, and calcium salt of carboxylic acid. Their solubility decreases. With the increasing temperature. Then what may be the reason for this? According to Le-Chatelier principle, if I am going here, what happens? Solute, I am taking, for that I am adding a solvent. There is a formation of solution. For this, delta H is negative. Exo salts, like example we have lithium sulfate, Li2, SO4, lithium sulfate we have, then cerium sulfate we have, okay, some calcium salt of carboxylic acid. calcium salts of carboxylic acids. We have examples. Lithium sulfate we have, cerium sulfate we have. Cerium is Si2SO, Se2SO4 taken twice. Okay, cerium sulfate we have calcium salt of carboxylic acids. Even we have sodium carbonate also. Lithium sulfate, cerium sulfate, taken twice. Cerium sulfate, calcium salt of carboxylic acid, and sodium carbonate. Hydrated sodium carbonate. These are the examples for the solute when they are dissolving in water. Reaction becomes exothermic. So, according to the Le-Chatelier principle, for an exothermic reaction, if you are increasing the temperature, then process becomes ulta. That is, become reverse. See, with the increase in temperature, solubility of solute per 100 grams of the solvent decreases. Right? So, this is the graph which explains, this is the graph which explains about the solubility of solid in a solvent. Solubility of a solid in a solvent. Once again, let me explain this. This is a graph. This is a graph. X-axis is temperature in degrees centigrade. Y-axis is in solubility of solute per 100 grams of solvent. That is solubility y-axis, temperature x-axis. So two things are happening here. Two things are happening here. What is that? First one is with the increase in temperature. With the temperature, two things are happening. Solubility increases with increase in temperature. Solubility decreases with increase in temperature. What type of solids? What type of solids? Solubility increases with increase in temperature. The solids, when they are dissolved in water, the reaction is endothermic. The reaction should be endothermic. Such type of solids, dissolution increases with increase in temperature. That is our graphs are like this. All are in upward direction only. Some solids are there. We have a lithium sulfate, cerium sulfate, calcium salt of carboxylic acid, hydrated sodium carbonate. These solids are there now. These solids solubility decreases with increase in temperature because they are exothermic reaction. Delta H is negative. Above case, delta H is positive. In this case, delta H is negative. When a solute is added into a solvent, there is a formation of solution. If the reaction is exothermic, then solubility decreases with increasing temperature. Right? Of course, it is not, a graph is not there in the NCERT textbook. Graph is not there, not required for theory purpose. But to understand a concept, I wanted to differentiate with the temperature. Some solids solubility increases and some solid solubility decreases. See, maximum cases I will tell you. Maximum solid when dissolved in a solvent, if you are increasing the temperature, the solubility increases only. Very few examples are there where the solubility decreases with increase in temperature. Question arises as a basic question in your mind. Sir, why these reactions are exothermic? Why the dissolution of these solids? Why the dissolution of these solids in a solvent is exothermic? Fine. See, sir, you said that those solids, the solids which are dissolved in the solvent, if they are endothermic, dissolution increases with increase in temperature. Fine. those solids which are exothermic, when those solids, when they are dissolved in a solvent, if they are exothermic, their solubility decreases with increase in temperature. Fine, we got the answer. But as a basic question arises, why the dissolution of these solids in a solvent is exothermic? Why the dissolution of this type of solid in a solvent is endothermic? Why exothermic and endothermic? That is homework question that you have to answer. You have to answer through WhatsApp. Homework is what? What is my homework? Listen carefully. Why these reactions are endothermic and why these reactions are exothermic? Why endo? Why exo? As a basic question I'm asking, not related to, it's not like direct question, I'm related to this concept, basic concept. For this related question, this much answer is sufficient. What is my question related to this concept? Which type of solids dissolution increases with increase in temperature? The solids, when they dissolve in a solvent, if they are endothermic in nature, the reaction is endothermic, they increases, the solubility increases with increase in temperature. Sufficient. Basic question I'm asking, you answer me through WhatsApp. So this is the one type of curve, they are called continuous solubility curves. Continuous solubility curves. We have some other curves called discontinuous solubility curves. Discontinuous solubility curves for some solid substances. Discontinuous. We have some discontinuous solubility curves. They are continuous curve because no breakings. They are going straight. No issue with this. We have some discontinuous curves. Yeah, discontinuous curves are same thing. The x-axis solubility. In the x-axis, you have to take solubility. Solubility. Y-axis is solubility, and this is temperature. Temperature in degree centigrade. Okay. Same thing we have like 20 degree, 40 degree, 60 degree, 80 degree centigrade like that. And the solubility is some 50, 100, 150, 200 like this we have. For this, graphs are for sodium sulfate, let me write, for sodium sulfate, for a sodium sulfate, we are going to observe this kind of graph. Sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. Here, this point is will be there. Point is at 32.8 degree. 32.8 degrees centigrade. 32.8 degrees centigrade. Next graph we have, that is calcium chloride graph. Less than 100 it is. Less than 100. Okay. Here points, there is a change of phase into there. And the next one we have ferrous sulfate. Around 60 degree it happens. Ferrous sulfate. That that is 61.8 degrees centigrade. 61.8 degrees centigrade. These are the points. Okay, I'll tell you what are these points. Okay, here this is for calcium chloride CaCl2 dot 6s2 up to this, and here this one CaCl2 dot 4s2O, and next one is CaCl2 dot 2s2O. This is for ferrous sulfate FeSO4 7s2O. This side we have only ferrous sulfate, that is 4s2O will be there. Okay. They are called discontinuous solubility curves. Discontinuous solubility curves. They are not continuously, means what? What is that? They are continuous, they are discontinuous, because you see that there whatever, it's not because of dotted lines. I have written dotted line there, this continuous, here I have written continuous line. No. Solubility, whatever, the solubility is increasing or decreasing, but they are continuous. Continuously decreasing or continuously increasing. Continuously increasing or continuously decreasing. But for these, what is happening? For you see that sodium sulfate, first sodium sulfate, Na2SO4 dot 10H2O. This is actually Na2SO4 dot 10H2O, sodium sulfate decahydrated. Na2SO4, maybe not visible. Na2SO4, sodium sulfate, decahydrated sodium sulfate. Okay, with increasing temperature, what happens? Solubility first increases. Solubility increases first, again decreases. Okay, that is why it is called discontinuous. For calcium chloride, increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. So that is why they are called discontinuous solubility curves. Ferrous sulfate heptahydrated ferrous sulfate becoming tetrahydrated ferrous sulfate. So there is a change of phase. There is a change in why it happens like this. Change in solid state phase. Change in solid state phase. One solid state phase to another solid state phase. That is what this is decahydrated. This is anhydrous sodium sulfate. At this point, at this temperature, after 32.8 degrees centigrade, we are going to see only sodium sulfate, anhydrous sodium sulfate after 32.8 degrees centigrade. Below 32.8 degrees centigrade, we can find decahydrated ferrous sulfate in the solution. See, two things are happening here. One, I am talking for mainly what I am talking for the dissolution of solid in a solvent. Again in a solvent, again in that solution, how there is a change of the phase takes place. That I want to explain here. Sodium sulfate, compound I am taking, I am adding into a water, I am adding into a solvent, start dissolving, increase the temperature, solubility also increases, then decreases. So because this point represent change in the solid state phase. So CaCl2 dot 6s2O, CaCl2 dot 4s2O, CaCl2 dot 2s2O, 6s2O molecule, 4s2O molecules, 2s2O molecule. Here 7s2O, here 4s2O. So they are called discontinuous solubility curves. They are called discontinuous solubility curve. They are continuous, they are discontinuous solubility curves. But this is about the dissolution of solid in liquid. How the temperature is affecting. See, I repeat, there are mainly two factors which affect for the solubility of solid in a solvent. Third factor is there, but not much. That is pressure. Pressure is not that is not affecting much for the dissolution of or solubility of a solid in solvent. First factor, what I said, nature of the solute and solvent. Okay, like dissolves, like concept. Second one is what? Temperature. How the temperature is affecting for the solubility of solid in a liquid. First one, for some type of solids, how the temperature is affecting, and for some type of solid, how the temperature is affecting. There we have some nature of a graph, continuous solubility curves and discontinuous solubility curves. Just have an idea about this. Right? The next one, solubility of gas and liquids. This point is called transition temperature. Transition takes place, transition state, transition temperature. This temperature is called transition temperature. For sodium sulfate, 32.8 degrees centigrade is the transition temperature. Right? Next we go for dissolution of gas. Dissolution of gas in liquids. Dissolution of gas in liquids, that is important. They are discontinuous curves. Of course, they are not there for NCERT. Not there in NCERT, but should have an idea about what is the meaning of transition temperature, how they are how the temperature is affecting for solubility of different solids. So next concept is solubility of gas and liquids. Solubility of gases in liquids. Solubility of gases in liquids. Definition. The volume, it is the volume of a gas. It is the volume of a gas dissolving. It is the volume of a gas dissolving fixed volume of a solvent. Some 100 ml of a solvent, if I am taking, or 100 grams of a solvent. How much it is soluble? How many cm cube is soluble in 100 cm cube of a solvent? It is the volume of a gas in cm cube soluble or dissolved in 100 cm cube of a solvent at a given temperature and pressure is called solubility of gas and liquids. Two definitions are there. That is, first definition are given, solubility of solid in liquids. This definition is solubility of gas in liquids. Solubility of gas in liquids. Right? So here, what are the factors What are the factors which affect? What are the factors which affecting for the solubility of gases? Factors affecting. Factors affecting for the solubility of gases and liquids. As usual, first one is nature of nature of solute and solvent. Nature of solute and solvent depends upon the nature of solute and solvent. That is what some gases are there. Some gases are there. They are easily soluble in solvent. Same solvent is fixed. Like we have some hydrogen gas, oxygen gas, nitrogen gas. They are not easily soluble in water. They are not easily soluble. Not easily soluble in water. They are not easily soluble in water. We have to maintain some conditions. Whereas you take some ammonia gas, some sulfur dioxide gas, some hydrogen chloride gas, they are easily soluble. They are easily soluble in water. So this is I am talking for the nature of the solute and solvent. See, solvent remains same. Water, solvent only. Some gases are there. Hydrogen gas, oxygen gas, nitrogen gas, and noble gases are not easily soluble in water. Why and all you have studied in first year states of matter chapter, van der Waals force of attraction. Okay, I'll come back to that. Some gases are there which are not easily soluble in water. For that we have to maintain some pressure, we have to maintain some temperature. That is one aspect. Second one is that some gases are like ammonia gas we have, sulfur dioxide gas we have, hydrogen chloride gas we have. They are easily soluble in water. Thing is that why they are easily soluble in water? See that ammonia combines with the water forms ammonium hydroxide. Sulfur dioxide combines with the water forms sulfurous acid. Hydrogen chloride combines with hydrogen chloride gas combines with the water form hydrochloric acid. Hydrogen chloride, if I am dissolving in the water, then it becomes hydrochloric acid. Remember, hydrogen chloride gas is not an oxidized, it is not an acid. Hydrogen chloride gas is not an acid. Hydrochloric acid in liquid state, in solution state, or in aqueous medium, it behaves as an acid. That you remember. Okay. So easily soluble in water because they combine with the water, they react chemically. And forms a compound. That is what I am telling. Ammonia react with the water, forms ammonium hydroxide. Sulfur dioxide react with the water, forms sulfurous acid. Hydrogen chloride gas dissolves, react with the water, form hydrochloric acid. Dissolves there, it forms hydrochloric acid. So what I mean to say about solute, if I am talking, if there is a chance of chemical reactivity between the solute and solvent, they are more soluble. Easily they are reacting means they are more soluble. That is a funda behind in that. Second thing is that solvent. You see that some are there like the same hydrogen gas, oxygen gas, nitrogen gas, and are easily soluble in ethyl alcohol solvent. But compared to water, in water they are less soluble, but more in ethyl alcohol. This is ethyl alcohol. More in ethyl alcohol. So matter of fact, solvent matters there. If these gases, if I am dissolving in water, they are less soluble. But if I'm taking an ethyl alcohol, they are more soluble. Same opposite for this gases. So nature of the solute and solvent also matter for the dissolution of gas in a liquid. Second factor is temperature. Second factor is temperature. Second factor is temperature. Temperature matters there. Generally, the solubility of gas in a solid decreases. I'm talking generally. Generally decreases with the increase in temperature. Generally solubility of gases decreases with increase in temperature. This is applicable for maximum gases, maximum and maximum. So with the increase in temperature, dissolution of gas decreases. So what I wanted to say, if you want to dissolve gas in a solvent, maintain low temperatures. So at low temperature they are more soluble. At high temperature what happens? Whatever the dissolved gas is there, that itself will come out. Simple example, aquatic life. If I'm talking aquatic life under low, why the aquatic life is more in the bottom or at the lower region of the sea water? Because their temperature is less, pressure is more. Temperature is less, pressure is more. So what happens at less temperature? The oxygen gas is dissolved more. So what they will do for breathing purpose, whatever the oxygen is required, that is available more in the ground level at the bottom as compared to the upper layer liquid. The reason is that because you see, if we have a water is there. If we have a water, here the oxygen contained in the bottom layer it is more, here it is more, and here it is less. Here it is more. Dissolved oxygen is more at the bottom. At higher it is less because temperature, sunlight is directly falling on this. Chances there are the temperature of this water is more, temperature of this water is less. So what happens here? Oxygen gas, whatever it is dissolved in this water, it remains there. But here chances is there for coming out. That is why aquatic life, they survive in this region. Okay. So I am speaking generally the dissolution of or solubility of gases increases with low temperatures only. At high temperature it is less, right? But we have some exception cases. Where hydrogen gas and some inert gases. Exception case you can say. Exception cases: hydrogen gas and inert gases. Hydrogen gas and inert gases, solubility increases with the temperature. This we take it as an exception case. Remaining all it is correct only. Okay, solubility decreases with increase in temperature. But we have an exception: hydrogen gas and some inert gases, solubility increases with increasing temperature. Right? That is the second factor. So I am talking for the factors affecting for the solubility of gases and liquid. Factors affecting for the solubility of gases and liquid. First factor, nature of the solute and solvent. Second factor is temperature. So temperature is inversely proportional to the solubility, except these gases, hydrogen gas and inert gases. Right? Next, third factor is pressure. How the pressure is affecting? Pressure is affecting with the increase in pressure. With the increase in pressure, the solubility of gas in a liquid increases only. With increase in pressure, solubility of a gas increases. Okay, that so three factors. That is, third factor is the pressure. What it happens. With pressure. With the pressure, the solubility of gas in a liquid increases with increase in pressure. Right? How exactly it increases? How it is going to affect? Okay, what happens if you are increasing the pressure on the surface of the liquid? How the solubility increases, how Henry's law says about this, that and all I'll explain tomorrow because it takes time. So I'll explain the effect of pressure on the solubility of gas in liquid. Right? I will explain tomorrow. I'll write one line. With the pressure increases. With the pressure increases. Solubility of gas increases with increasing pressure. Right? So tomorrow I will continue about the effect of pressure on the solubility of gas and Henry's law. Some problems based on the Henry's law I will discuss tomorrow. ಇನ್ನದೇ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ